You've seen it, the slick career page, the photos of smiling employees at a retreat, the free snacks in the micro kitchen, the ping pong table, the beanbag chairs, with a mission statement on the wall filled with words like innovation, integrity, and collaboration. This is what companies say their culture is, but what is culture really? It's not the perks. The ping pong table, it's just an artifact. The real culture is the way things are done around here. It's the invisible set of rules that governs how people actually behave when the boss isn't in the room. Welcome back to our organizational behavior playbook. In our first videos, we mastered level 1, the individual, learning what motivates us. Then we mastered level 2, the group, learning how to build high-performing remote teams. Today we're tackling the biggest level 3, the organization. This video ties it all together because finding a job that aligns with your values, your motivation, and your work style, that's the final key to building a career that you love. And for all you entrepreneurs watching, this is your guide to building a culture that isn't just a poster on the wall, but the authentic strategic tool that actually drives your business forward. So how do you decode the real culture during the interview process? Well, you need to look at these 3 powerful tells. The first is how they talk about failure. Now, this is the most important one. You need to find out if you're interviewing at a blame culture or a learning culture. A blame culture is obsessed with who is responsible. A learning culture is obsessed with what went wrong and how to fix the process. As Harvard professor Amy Edmondson writes, you cannot have innovation or high performance without psychological safety, that shared belief that you won't be punished for making a mistake. A real-world example is Microsoft. For years, they ran on a stack ranking system, that's forced ranking model that is the very definition of a blame culture. It pitted employees against each other and killed collaboration. When Satya Nadella took over, his entire mandate was to shift to a learn-it-all culture that was built on a growth mindset. A perfect example is their mobile strategy. The Windows Phone was a massive multi-billion-dollar failure. A blame culture would have fired the entire team and doubled down on their failing strategy. But the learn-it-all culture studied that failure. They learned that the world had chosen iOS and Android as the dominant mobile platforms. So instead of trying to beat them, Microsoft made a radical decision to unbundle its crown jewel, Microsoft Office, from their own platform. They shifted to a cloud-first, mobile-first strategy, which meant developing Office as a first-class, dominant app for their competitors, Apple's iPhone and Google's Android. They stopped trying to beat Apple and Google on the mobile hardware and started partnering with them on the software. That decision to learn from their failure and not let pride get in the way is the key reason for their massive success today. So in your next interview, I want you to ask this exact question. Can you tell me about a recent project that didn't go as planned? What did the team learn? And what changed as a result? Now, listen very carefully to the answer. Do they get nervous and say, oh, we don't really fail around here? Well, that's a lie and a huge red flag. Do they blame a person? Like, yeah, that last marketing guy really dropped the ball. Or did they own it as a team and focus on the process? For example, our launch timeline was too aggressive and we learned that we needed to build in an extra week for testing. And we've already done that in our next sprint. That last answer is gold. It shows that they're a learning organization. For entrepreneurs, you set the tone. When something breaks, is your first question, who did this? Or is it, why did this happen? Are you building a stack ranking culture or a learn-it-all culture? The second tell is understanding the flow of power. Is the company a dictatorship or is it built on empowerment? Is it strictly top-down where the managers make all the calls and you just execute? Or is it decentralized where the team is involved and you're empowered to make the decisions? A well-known and somewhat radical example of this is the video game company called Valve, the creators of the massive Steam platform. Their employee handbook became legendary in the business world because they operate on what's called a flat structure. In theory, there are no managers. New employees' desks are on wheels. They are encouraged to roll their desk to whatever project that they feel that they can add the most value to. It's an entire company built on the idea of 100% individual autonomy. Decisions are made by the people who are actually doing the work, not by the manager 3 levels up. Now, this is an extreme example, but it shows a spectrum. One style isn't better than the other, but one of them is better for you. Remember in video 2 that we talked about Daniel Pink's book Drive? If autonomy is one of your key motivators, a flat culture might be a dream. But if you thrive on clear direction, defined goals, a top-down structure might be a much better fit. Here's the question to ask. Could you walk me through how a decision, like a new feature or a new marketing campaign, gets made around here? Listen to the verbs that they use. I decide. My boss tells us. We all get in a room. The team is empowered too. This tells you exactly how much autonomy that you will have in your role. For entrepreneurs, be explicit in your decision-making style. A fast-moving startup might need to be top-down to survive. A flat structure like Valve can lead to increased innovation, but it can also be chaotic. Be honest about what you're building. The third is how they measure success. This is the final and most powerful tell because a company's real values aren't what they write on the wall. A company's real value is what it rewards. You need to find out if they say they value collaboration, but only reward the #1 lone wolf salesperson. A good example of this is with Salesforce. They're famous for their mission-driven Ohana culture, but they back it up with a review process. Employees are reportedly measured on 2 main areas. The first is performance. This is the what. Did you hit the numbers and the objectives? The second is values. This is the how. How did you achieve those results? Did you live the company's values of trust, customer success, and innovation? They also famously give employees volunteer time off and they track it, making a community impact a measurable part of what they define as success. This is what you're looking for, a company that's found a way to measure both the what and the how. Remember what Arthur C. Brooks taught us? That earned success is the key to happiness? But what success does the company actually recognize? So here's your question to ask. When you look at your top performers on this team, what besides their hard numbers makes them so successful here? This question works because it forces them to go beyond the sales quota and the lines of code. Do they say that they're great mentors for new hires, which means that they value collaboration? Or do they say that they're always the first to try a new approach, which means that they value learning? Do they say that they live our values of trust and customer success, which means they value the how? Or do they hesitate and say, well, they just always hit their numbers? The last answer tells you everything. It means that they don't really care about how you get the results. For entrepreneurs, your compensation and promotion plan are your culture. If you say that you value teamwork but give 100% of the bonus to the individual, you're lying. You must build your values into your review process. So there you have it. Are they a blame culture or a learning culture? Are they top-down or decentralized? Do they reward collaboration or just the raw numbers? Culture isn't a perk, it's the operating system of a company. For all you job seekers, your task is to find the operating system that you run best in. For all you entrepreneurs, your task is to design an operating system with intention, because as we've said before, culture will always eat strategy for breakfast. I want to hear from you. What's the biggest cultural lie that you've been told in an interview? Let me know in the comments below. Now that we've mastered the individual, the group, and the organization, it's time to learn how to use that knowledge. In our next video, we're going to dive into a topic that everyone's afraid of, but everyone needs to know: how to navigate office politics without losing your soul. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.